Well, let's hear it from corporate voices then. And amid several global headwinds, Hindalco's Q3 performance was still above street estimates. Mubina Kapasi quizzed the managing director, Mr. Satish Pai, on the impact of the rising LME prices and the demand for aluminium. Let's listen in.
So our COP quarter on quarter sequentially improved by 5%. So much more than what we were expecting, as a combination of operations running well as us getting much more linkage coal. And the carbon prices, CP coke, pitch, caustic, all of those went down, and that was good for us. So our cost of production went down by 5%. So that's why our EBITDA percentage shot up in Q3 for aluminium. In fact, aluminium EBITDA was up 29% from Q2 to Q3. So a great performance by aluminium business in India.
Yeah, but unfortunately, aluminium prices were not, that supportive.
It was not that great, but our EBITDA still went up by 29% from Q2 to Q3.
What was the average realization in aluminium?
So look, all I can tell you is the LME averaged 1754.
Right.
And I think the rupee averaged about 71.2 or 3. So you put that together, you get the realization.
Okay, all right. What about the alumina business? Now, we were expecting that it is going to be hit because of the Muri shutdown, and hence, the street was expecting that EBITDA, including Utkal, would be down by almost 40%, but it's not that bad. So if you could just summarize what went by in the alumina business?
No, so on the alumina business, Utkal performance was probably the best it has ever been since it started. So our alumina production and our cost of production in Utkal were all record quarters. So a lower cost of alumina production means that the cost of production of aluminium, because we are an integrated business, participated in bringing the overall cost of aluminium down by 5%. So which is why the EBITDA percentage of 19%, this is the world's best EBITDA percentage compared to Alcoa, Norsk Hydro, any of these smelters worldwide. So the aluminium business in India, I have to say I'm very proud of their performance in Q3.
Okay, and I would assume that things would only get better in Q4 because Muri has restarted in December.
So we should get a further 2% reduction in the cost of production of aluminium in Q4. The only, let's say, negative in Q4 is this ongoing coronavirus and its impact on the commodity prices. So aluminium prices that had started to stabilize sort of December onwards, again at the end of January, have gone down. So this is the real only concern I have right now.
Yeah, exactly. We had been seeing that Hindalco had been increasing the prices slowly, in a span of just a few weeks and few days, etc. That was, I think, the case even with your peers. So roughly, how much has coronavirus hit you? I mean, how worried would you be about that? Because it's been, I think, 1 month, and only now is it showing very, very minor signs of letting off, but still nothing major.
So what coronavirus has done to us is that the Chinese economy and the demand for aluminium and copper in China, people have got worried now as to what is going to be the impact on the Chinese economy. So as a result, aluminium prices, copper prices, oil prices, all have come down. Now, if you have noticed in the last week, people are getting some measure of comfort that the worst is over. And that the Chinese are getting control of the situation, and that the Chinese market and the economy will pick up again. If that happens, then we should be okay, because then the commodity prices will stabilize. So really, it's the impact of coronavirus on the Chinese economy and the impact of that on the commodity prices, which is the big unknown for metal players right now.
Okay, all right. But for India, are you seeing a good demand recovery come by for aluminium, for metals? I mean, that's at least the commentary we've been hearing for some time. PMI is increasing.
PMI has gone up sharply from January. So yes, since sort of late December, we are seeing both aluminium and copper demand go up. I mean, I think that we are starting to see government and electrical sector orders start to come in. Q4 generally is the best quarter because people try to use up their budgets as well. So we are hoping that the Indian economy has bottomed out in Q3, because in Q3, aluminium demand degrew by 14% year on year. So it was a very sharp contraction in demand. So we think that probably the worst should be over now, and Q4 we will start to see a pickup in demand.
So are you seeing that right now in
Yes.
January, for example?
We have seen that in January. In fact, we started to see it from sort of December onwards.
Okay. Novelis, meantime, I think that one still has had an excellent quarter regardless of whatever, because I have an adjusted EBITDA which is up 7%
Yes.
year on year.
That's correct.
Despite what we are seeing in aluminium prices. Is it the focus on that specialty products, on the downstream products that's giving Novelis the edge?
Yes, because see, Novelis is a converter business, so the LME has no impact on their results.
Yeah.
So the can demand quarter on quarter, year on year quarter grew by 4%. Automotive shipments grew by 3%. And even though normally for them Q3 is a weak quarter because of Christmas, New Year, Thanksgiving, this Q3 was their best ever Q3. So 7% up in EBITDA, 7% up in EBITDA per ton. So Novelis Q3 was very strong, and I think that Q4 is going to be the normal Q4, which is a very strong quarter.
But total shipments, I think for FRPs was flat, beverage, can sheet and automotive was still a bit higher. Now, of course, I think why is it that FRPs is still flat, and also still automotives was a bit higher? So are you seeing a bit of recovery come by over there?
Yeah,
also?
so see what happens with Novelis is that can grew by 4%, auto grew by 3%, and what we call others, which is specialties, actually degrew. That's why you could see a flat. Now that specialty degrowth actually happened in the US market, where there was last year there was a bit of stocking going on when the Chinese tariffs started. So there is a bit of destocking that happened in Q3.